Okay, here we go.
Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, cheery berry berry bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Wait a minute. This is wrong. Everyone repeat after me, please. Say bim,
Bim,
bam,
bom,
bim, 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 bam,
bim, 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 bom,
bim, 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 bam.
bim, 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 bom.
This is an old Hebrew phrase. Roughly translated, it means bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. It means nothing. But it's fun to say. And we need to know Shabbat,
Shabbat,
Shalom.
Shalom,
Put it together, Shabbat, Shalom,
Shabbat, Shalom.
which is how Jews greet each other on the Shabbat, which is Sabbath in Hebrew, this day of peace and rest. And it's put together in this wonderful, simple song. And we'd love for you to sing along. It's not an audition. You don't have to sing on key. You don't have to have a wonderful voice. You just need to be filled with joy. So let's work on that. And please sing along. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam.
Cheery, berry, berry,
Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bim. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Bim bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Cheery, berry, berry, bim. Bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Very nice. The cheery berry is extra credit. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat, Shalom.
And welcome. I'm Rabbi Jason Gwozdov. This is my wife, Lindy Passer, our music director and cantorial soloist. And we are so happy to welcome everyone here on this beautiful day for what we call a simcha, a celebration of joy, as Miller Clark celebrates his bar mitzvah. And we'll be talking a little bit more about what that means along the way. And we're so filled with joy that there are so many family and friends joining us here today. I'm looking at the front row at some very proud parents and grandparents, and I know there's other family joining us. A little bit of business before I forget. Everyone, please take out your cell phone and turn it off. or at least silence it, and leave it in your pocket or your coat or in your bag for the rest of the service. We're turning it off because we don't want it to interfere with our wireless PA system, and we don't want to be interrupted during our service by someone's phone going off. And please no photography during the service. This is a special time. It's a hallowed ceremony, and so we want to respect this time and this space. And one of the ways we do that is by not taking pictures during the service. And we have taken lots of posed pictures before. We've caught it all on film, so there's no need to take any pictures during the service. And Michelle has asked me to say that everyone who's joining us for the party, and that should be everyone, if you don't know where you're going, there was a card on the table with directions, so if you didn't grab that, go ahead and grab that. And everyone needs a Siddur, a prayer book, which Karma, our educator and administrator, is holding up over there. If you didn't grab one coming in, she has a couple of extra ones. Give a little wave and she'll come over and bring one to you. If this is your first time in a synagogue and you've never seen a Jewish prayer book before, you'll notice one thing about it that you might find odd, and that's that the pages, they're not backwards, but they go the other direction, because Hebrew is written from right to left, and so a Hebrew book goes in the other direction, not backwards. Hebrew's a lot older than English. And throughout the service, we encourage you, we ask you to not just be a passive observer, but an active participant. Read the prayers and do your best to sing along. Much of it is Hebrew. I know you're all fluent in Hebrew, so it's easy to do, right? Don't let the Hebrew get in the way. Lie, lie, lie works just fine. But I promise it will really be much more enjoyable for you and for everyone if you really do your best to participate, and if we fill this room with the sound of our voices singing together. So
We also want to welcome those who are watching from home. We know there are some family and friends watching on our live stream, and so welcome to all of you.
everyone turn around and wave at the camera. Our service continues now on page 4, and it's a pleasure to invite up onto the bima Aunt Kelly and Uncle Eric Monk to share with us a special family blessing. No, you don't need to be here.
You ready?
Yeah.
May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds still to come, and may you trust in generations past and yet to be.
May your heart be filled with intuition and your words be rich in understanding. May songs of praise ever be upon your tongue and your vision clearly a straight path before you.
May your eyes shine with the light of holy words and your face reflect the brightness of the heavens. May your lips speak wisdom and your fulfillment be in righteousness. And may your heart always be open to the words of the Holy Ancient One of old.
Thank you. So I explained the prayer book, and we have here in the sanctuary many ritual objects that are important and all carry significance to them. They have the ark and the eternal light that sits atop it, and we wear holy garments. You're going to hear a little bit more about that in his speech, his Dvar Torah, about the garments that the ancient priests in the temple in Jerusalem wore more than 2,000 years ago. Today, We like to wear a head covering called a kippah or a yarmulke that reminds us that we are not the center of the universe, that there's something much greater than we ourselves, and we humble ourselves by wearing it. And a talit, a prayer shawl. And you might see around the sanctuary some people wearing a talit, some in beautiful colors and patterns, but nothing about the material or the beautiful colors is important. It's all about the fringes, called tzitzit in Hebrew, that are affixed to the four corners. It's actually a commandment to affix these fringes, which are a reminder. They're tied in a very special way. In Rabbinic tradition, every number of the Hebrew alphabet, every letter of the Hebrew alphabet has a number assigned to it. And they find great significance at looking at patterns and numbers, which we have a very good budding mathematician here, and so I know he'll find this fascinating. The way it's tied, a series of coils and knots, it's kind of a code. And if you know the code, it actually says Adonai Echad, that God is one. And another reminder also in the way we look at the coils and the knots, it's reminder of the commandments in Jewish life, the mitzvot. That word sounds familiar because we know we're at a bar mitzvah, which means the son of the commandments. As Miller steps onto the bima today and celebrates this important occasion in his life, he becomes a son of the commandments, meaning we accept him now as a young adult member of the community. We expect at this point in his life he's old enough to take on adult-like responsibilities. And he's been coming to temple and studying and learning about his Jewish faith. And so now he takes responsibility for that himself as a bar mitzvah. And a mitzvah means commandment. And I know we kind of jump to thinking about the 10 commandments, but there are many more commandments in the Torah. How many commandments are in the Torah?
613.
See? And when we see the tzitzit, it's a reminder to follow the commandments and to live a righteous life. So today we are presenting Miller with a talit that he's going to wear at his bar mitzvah. And I'm holding it very delicately because this is a family heirloom. This talit belonged to Louis Bean, who was Miller's great uncle, Elliot David Bean's father. Am I getting that right?
Yes, you are.
Elliot Bean of blessed memory, who died recently, and may his memory be a blessing. How meaningful that Miller is going to wear this talit today, that no doubt the father of his great uncle received at his bar mitzvah in 1913, which means this talit is 110 years old. And it perpetuates the memory of those members of the family and represents this transmission of tradition from one generation to the next. So it is with great pleasure that I invite onto the bima now Miller's parents, Kevin and Michelle, and his great aunt, Edna Teller, to present this beautiful family talit to him. Oh, wait, after the blessing. Blessing first. Go for it.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu bo mitzvotav, v'tivanu Vahit atef betitit.
And now Michelle and Kevin are going to share with Miller some words of blessing.
Okay. There are so many things I'd like to tell you, my son, but I'll focus on one theme, the theme of time. Time is the most important gift we have. There are 3 periods I'll address to you: what was, what is, and what will be. What was is sitting with you in this room, online, and all around you. Please look at these people in the audience. You can trust all of them, and you can learn so much from them. This group of people will never be assembled in this configuration again. I thank them for being here for you, and I'd like for you to try to talk to each of them later on. Learn as much as you can. Please learn from them and apply this knowledge to your life. What is? The here and now is life. Try not to forget that. There's no moment more important than this one until the next one. In this moment, for me, I want to tell you how much I love you, how proud I am of you, and how amazed I am by you every day. Living with you daily is one of the true gifts of my life. You surprise me every day with things you do that remind me of myself, remind me of your mother, but most importantly, the things that you do that are uniquely you. You've been given many gifts. I've seen you develop them. You have now reached a point in your life where I truly trust you. You are now fully capable of guiding your own life. I hope you will continue to learn from your mother and myself, but I want to empower you to drive your own life. What will be? Given the immense trust I have in you as the painter of your own life, all I can say about what will be is that it's truly up to you, and I can't wait to see what happens. As a symbol of this, I'm giving you this whiteboard. I won't make you hold it here, but just for a second. And these pens. And most importantly, they have erasers. Keep these with you as a reminder that only you can use all of your present moments to construct the future Miller. Draw colorfully, draw frequently, learn from past success and failures, but most importantly, remember that the best picture comes from using many colors. Constantly working on your picture, never regretting what was previously drawn. If you don't like it, erase it. Keep changing the picture until you do like what it is. Then, change it, add to it, and make it better. I love you.
Yeah, you asked me to be brief and not cry, so I will be brief and not cry. I just had to think when we're here today about the significance of being here specifically, because about 16 years ago, Dad and I were on this exact spot. Karma was here, Rabbi was here, and this is where we got married. And this is where we started our family together. And we didn't know how many children we'd have. We didn't know when they would come. We just knew we wanted a family, and we would see how the world rewarded us. And 2.5 years later, you came along and have filled our lives with so much joy and seemingly never-ending energy. And we could not have picked a better son if we had tried. We are so proud of you, and we love you so much. A bar mitzvah is a way of you connecting with my side of the family, the Jewish side, and all your ancestors, but it's bigger than that, and a little bit of what Dad said, I'll echo, which is all the people in this room are part of your extended family. They may not be related by blood, but they are all here because they care about you, they care about us, and they are here to help you on your journey. About 40% of the people in this room were here 16 years ago when we got married. And then there's so many new people we've been able to meet and you've been able to meet, which is such a blessing to us all. So I don't have any doubts, Dad and I don't have any doubts, you will have an incredibly successful life. We wish you fulfillment and happiness and a long, fruitful life, and we love you so much. Congrats, thank you.
Special moments in our lives, like this one, we say a special blessing that gives thanks for bringing us into life, for sustaining us in life, and for bringing us to celebrate these special moments. That prayer is called the Shehechianu, and the words are in our Siddur, our prayer book, at the bottom of page 4, and we invite you to join us in singing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu b'zman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu b'zman hazeh. Our service continues on page 6 with Shiru Ladonai. Sing unto God a new song.
At the bottom of the page.
Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz. Shiru Ladonai shir hadash. Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz. Shiru Ladonai shir hadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz. Shiru Ladonai shir hadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru
Our service continues on page 7. Elu Devarim Sha'ain Lehem Shior. These are the duties whose worth cannot be measured. Honoring one's father and mother, acts of love and kindness, diligent pursuit of knowledge and wisdom, hospitality to strangers, visiting the sick, celebrating with bride and groom, consoling the bereaved, praying with sincerity, and making peace where there is strife, and the study of Torah leads to them all. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lesechvi vina lechavhin ben yom uven laila.
Praise be the eternal God, who has implanted mind and instinct within every living being.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael.
Praise be the eternal God, who has made me a Jew.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben chorin.
Praise be the eternal God, who has made me to be free.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim.
Praise be the eternal God, who helps the blind to see.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim.
Praise be the eternal God, who clothes the naked.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Praise be the eternal God, who frees the captive.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokev kefufim.
Praise be the eternal God, who lifts up the fallen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver.
Praise be the eternal God, who makes firm our steps.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael bigvura.
Praise be the eternal God, who girds our people Israel with strength.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ater Yisrael b'tifara.
Praise be the eternal God, who crowns Israel with glory.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten layav koach.
Praise be the eternal God, who gives strength to the weary.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir sheina me'enai u'numa me'afapai.
Praise be the eternal God, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids. As our service continues, we rise either physically or in spirit as we continue with the call to worship the Baruch Hu. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. La la Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam, Leolam Vaed. Please be seated, and we continue reading together on the top of page 11. Love Adonai your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at home and at work, whether you are tired or rested. Let them guide your work of your hands. Keep them in your forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God.
I continue on the middle of page 11. Standing at the water's edge, the sea spray on your cheek, close your eyes and feel within the beating of freedom's drum. Listen closely on the breeze. Do you hear the music of the ages? O God, you beat the drum. You are the song. You are the wonder in each of us. With joy and awe, we sing to you the song of freedom.
We continue on page 12, and we rise once again, either physically or in spirit, as we continue with the chanting of the Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach u'ki agita ilatecha, eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu Ve'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Ve'hanorah, Gomel chasadim tovim, v'konei hakol, v'zocher chasdei avot ve'imahot, u'mevi geula livnei b'neihem, למען שמו ואהבה. מלך עוזר ומשה Hoshia Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Be'ezras Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol, Atah Rav Be'Hoshia, Mechakel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Tomech Noflim Verofech Cholim, Umatir Hasurim, Umekayem Emnunato Lishanei Afar, Michamocha Ba'gevurot, Umidor Melech, Melech Memit, Umechayet, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah V'hachayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol. Nekadesh et Shimcha ba'olam, Keshem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom, Kakatuv ayad nevi'echa, V'kara zeh ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tziva'ot, Melot kol haaretz, Kevotot. Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Mahadir, Shimcha b'chol haaretz, Baruch Kevod Adonai, Mikomo. Echadu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu, Hu Yashmienu, Berachamav le'enei kol chaim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Yitzrion, Ledor vador, vador, Hallelujah.
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם אבד.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. May be seated. Throughout the service, we pray all these prayers that have been handed down through thousands of years and through all the generations. And the words express the values of our people that come from Torah. In fact, many of the words are directly from the Torah, others written at other times. And they're important expressions of faith and values and about living a good life, a life of righteousness. But I think it's important in all of our services for us to have the opportunity to turn inward and to pray the prayers that aren't written for us, but the ones that come from us, the expressions that we need to pray and to think of and to meditate on. And so we take a few quiet moments now and invite everyone to turn inward.
join us, page 17.
From the Jordan River to the Galilee, from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv, from the top of Masada to the western wall, you can feel it, yes it's real, yes. From Theodore Herzl to Ben Gurion, from Golda Meir the magic passes on. If you will it, you will see. If you dream it, it can be. We hold a piece of a dream. Yes, we do. Yes, you do. We hold a piece of a dream, and it's a dream come true. A desert blooms, a dream comes true. A home that's built for me and you. If we will it, it can be. If we dream it, we will see.
Try it.
We hold a piece of a dream. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We hold a piece of a dream, and it's a dream come true. We hold a piece of a dream. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We hold a piece of a dream, and it's a dream come true. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Od Avinu Chai. Chai, Chai, Chai. We hold a piece of a dream. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We hold a piece of a dream, and it's a dream come true.
You know it now.
We hold a piece of a dream. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We hold a piece of a dream, and it's a dream come true. You know, Miller and his family chose for us to sing that beautiful song today as part of the celebration of this bar mitzvah. As I was standing here singing it, I was getting a little verklempt, which means emotional in Yiddish, because of what's happening right now in the modern state of Israel. I'm sure everyone has heard something about it and maybe seen the pictures in the news of hundreds of thousands of Israelis marching in the streets, holding Israeli flags, protesting against the current government. And what they were doing is what the song was talking about. It's holding on to the dream of a modern state of Israel that is both a Jewish state and a democratic state. That's what that marching and that protesting is all about. And it's so very important to us as Americans and as American Jews, because those are the values that we share in common. Democratic nations, not just allies with mutual interest, but friends with shared values. We hold a piece of that dream. Thank you for letting me get that off my chest. We're transitioning now into the next part of our service, which is a very exciting and special moment. It's Seder Kriyat Torah, the special service for the reading of the Torah. In a moment, we're going to be turning around and opening the doors of the Ark and bringing out one of our Torah scrolls that's going to be passed down through the generations of Miller's family to him. This transmission.
Staying hydrated.
And staying hydrated. Thank God. Don't want anyone going down.
I gotta get that agua on my bones.
In Hebrew, it's mayim.
Mayim, my bad.
Mayim. And wow, then we're going to be, Miller's and his parents and grandparents are going to be headed off the bema and marching around the sanctuary holding the Torah in procession all around. And this is part of tradition too, bringing the Torah out into the community. It doesn't just live up here. And there's a tradition. You don't have to do it. I just want you to know what's happening. The tradition is out of love and respect for the Torah. Many will step forward and kiss it, either with their talit or with their sidur, their service. Reach it and touch the Torah and give it a kiss. I'm not saying you have to do that. I just want you to understand what that's all about, this sign of love and respect. And it's a joyous moment. We'll be singing, we'll be hugging, so we don't have to be standing quiet at that moment. And then we'll bring the Torah back up onto the bema and unwrap it. And while that's happening, some of Miller's cousins, with the help of their parents, are going to be distributing small individually wrapped pieces of candy. This is not meant to be a mid-service snack. We want you to take that candy and hang on to it quietly, maybe put it in your pocket, and save it for another special moment that will come when Miller finishes his special aliyah, his special section of chanting the Torah, which is the honor of the bar mitzvah. We're inviting everyone to toss the candy in the air and up here onto the bema, oh so gently. And this is a sign of the sweetness of that moment. Simple as that. That's what that's all about.
Can I add something?
I guess so.
Underhand.
Oh, throwing it underhand. Where are your teammates out there? He's speaking to you, teammates. So we invite up onto the bema for the honor of opening the Ark, cousins Kyle and Kevin Monk, and we invite everyone to please rise.
Ki
Mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki Mitzion tetzei Torah, U'devar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. This is the Torah, Israel's marashah, the eternal inheritance of our people. We'd like to call it our tree of life, because just as a real tree sustains life by giving us wood and paper, and we build our houses with it, and the oxygen we breathe all comes from trees. So the Torah sustains and nourishes Jewish life because it's the source of our history and our traditions and all the mitzvot, the 613 commandments of our people. Miller, you've been coming to temple now for a number of years. Unfortunately, part of it was on Zoom during the pandemic, but you've been studying and learning about our traditions. You've been studying and learning how to read Hebrew and how to chant from the Torah. And here you stand today, 13 years old, the age in which our people see you differently, as now a young adult ready to take on new responsibilities. And you're not getting the keys of the car tomorrow or moving into your own apartment. But as your dad said, it means we trust you to make good decisions. And we pass this Torah and we place it literally and figuratively into your arms with joy. So I would love now to invite your grandparents, Steve and Miriam, and your mom and your dad, Michelle and Kevin, onto the bima as we pass the Torah through the generations to you.
Dvar Torah.
Dvar Torah.
Nagid Godlecha.
Nagid Godlecha ulenetzach netzachim kedushatcha nagdish. V'shivchacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed le'olam va'ed.
At the end of his life, Moses spoke to the children of Israel and said, "It is not enough that you have received the Torah from me. You must make it new again in every generation."
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu One second, I invite onto the bima for the honor of undressing the Torah, friends Talia and Florian Drescher, as we continue singing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu sweet it is. You may be seated. That line, sweet as honey, is not just a catchy phrase. It's actually a line from tradition, and it's talking about the words of Torah, which are sweet as honey on our tongue, and beautiful and powerful. So every week, the Torah comes out of the ark, and we read the Torah portion that's assigned for this week. It's a scroll, as you see. It's the Torah. It's the first section of the Hebrew Bible, the 5 books of Moses: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Those are the Latin names anyway. And it wasn't written in 52 chapters, but the rabbis long ago divided it into weekly readings so that it would take us a year to go from beginning to end. And when we finish, we start all over again. And you would think, well, why don't you go on to another book? You read the same one over and over? Well, yes, we do. And while it's the same words, when we approach Torah every year, we aren't the same because we've aged, because we've learned new things, we've had different experiences. And so every year when we read the Torah, and it's sweet as honey, these words have new meaning to us, and we find new insights that we didn't understand. Your words were so powerful, Kevin, about this moment being the most important moment, but then to continue to color towards the future, to take what we have learned and what we've experienced today, and to have that elevate our life for all that's to come. And no one knows what an important day this is for Miller, and all he's learned and all he's accomplished is being celebrated today. But it's only the beginning. So he's going to read a section of the Torah portion for this week, which actually, if you would read the English translation, it would be a good thing to read to help you fall asleep, because much of it is pretty cut and dry and kind of boring. It's all about the laws of the sacrifices and well, Karma's saying it'll give you bad dreams because it's all about the sacrifices. In the ancient temple, they slaughtered animals, they burnt them on an altar. How could that be beautiful and inspiring? Well, they are when you interpret them and when you learn from all the interpretations that smarter people than me have thought of throughout the centuries when they read these words. And Miller is going to share with us what we call a Dvar Torah, words of Torah, a homily, a sermon, if you will, that will give meaning to these words that he's going to read. We invite up onto the bima family and friends for the honor of reciting the blessing for the reading of the Torah. Call an aliyah. Yamod Rishon, Stephen ben Ronen, Miriam bat Lezer v'Chana, Edna bat Lezer v'Chana, Huna ben Stephen v'Miriam, Rachel bat Shlomo v'Tirza, Asher ben Huna v'Rachel, Stav bat Huna v'Rachel. We call for the first aliyah, grandparents Stephen Miriam Miller, great-aunt Edna Teller, Uncle Alan and Aunt Rachel Miller, and cousins Asher and Autumn Miller. Here. Blessings right here. Yeah, everyone come on up. Come close, gather around.
Do we start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch
Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Elohim melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notei haTorah. Amen.
Vayedaber Adonai El Moshe Lemor, Daber El Aharon ve'el banav Lemor, Zot Torat Hachatat Bimkom Asher Tishachet Ha'olah Tishachet Hachatat Lifnei Adonai Kodesh Kodashim He.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Sorry.
We studied too. We did our homework.
Yamot Sheni, Menucha Bat Stephen Miriam. We call for our second Aliyah, Miller's parents, Michelle and Kevin Clark.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. HaKohen Hamchate Ota Yochlena B'makom Kadosh Te'achel B'chatzar Ohel Moed Kol Asher Yiga Bivsara Ikdas Va'asher Yizeh Midama Ahabeged Asher Yizeh Aleha Techabez B'makom Kadosh.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Good job, buddy. Thank you. Give me a hug. Whoops. My bad. Oh. A lot of people up here. I did good, I think. I think I did pretty good. Third Aliyah time.
Guitar. We like to say special blessings in the presence of our Sefer Torah, and especially blessings for good health and for healing, not only for ourselves, but for our friends and family, the people we care about, people in our lives who are ailing and who need whatever encouragement, whatever support that we can bring to them with our phone calls or a visit, with a meal or a card, anything we can do to give them a little bit of strength. And this is a beautiful blessing for healing that we're about to sing together. And if you have people like that in your life, I invite you to say their names aloud as my hand passes across the room. This works equally well for Gentile and Jew alike, so please don't be shy. Prayers for healing. I'm glad everyone's so healthy. Nobody has people in your life who are struggling. So in our Siddur are the words of this blessing on
Page
page 22. We add to those names mentioned aloud those of us here who are in need of these same blessings of refuat hanefesh and refuat haguf for healing of mind and body and spirit. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. Blessed are you, O God, who heals and gives strength to the sick.
Amen.
One more thing that we like to do, a meaningful moment at each of our bar and bat mitzvah services, and that is to invite all our students to twin their bar or bat mitzvah with a young child who did not have the opportunity to celebrate as Miller is celebrating today, because they lived in a very dark moment in history during the Holocaust. And so they died. Many along with their families didn't have a chance to have this meaningful moment in their lives. And you might wonder, why bring such sadness and the memory of all that into such a joyous celebration that we share today? And well, I guess part of the answer is that we are a people of memory. And that perhaps is part of the secret of our strength and our longevity. We remember both the good things that happened, and we remember as well the tragedies and the challenges that our people have faced. We give thanks for life, that we have the opportunity to live full lives and to celebrate as we are today. And so we remember today a child who didn't have a chance to celebrate a bar or bat mitzvah. We don't just sweep all of that under the rug. And I think it gives extra joy to this day and extra meaning to this day to do so. And there's a personal connection to today's twinning because this child came from the village, the town where Miller's ancestors lived. So, Miller, I invite you to share with us this dedication.
In 1933, as I become a bar mitzvah, I pledge to remember David Meistelman. In 1933, David was born in the same town as my great-grandmother. The name of the town is Snitkov. It is in modern-day Ukraine. David's father was Moishe, and his mother was Celia. He had an older sister named Riva and a younger brother named Iran. We do not know what happened to David and his family, but we do know that on August 21st, 1942, the Jews of Snitkov were forcibly marched into the Buchenwald forest where they were shot and killed. The mass grave discovered after the war held more than 2,000 bodies. On the day of the Buchenwald massacre, David would have been 9 years old. Today I remember David and read Torah in his honor. On Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day, I will remember him. When I say Mourner's Kaddish, I will remember him. David could not become a bar mitzvah. I am doing this for him, for me, and for the Jewish people. I make this pledge in honor of all those who perished in the Holocaust.
Thank you, Miller, for choosing to do this and for sharing with us that information. You know, I always like to say one of the most important things that we need to do in the face of all that is to live proud Jewish lives as you are. And we are so proud of you and ready now to call you as a bar mitzvah to say that blessing for the chanting of Torah, which is the real honor of today as a young adult member of the Jewish community. So with joy and with pride, I say, Ya'amod habar mitzvah, Ronen ben Menucha. We call to the Torah our bar mitzvah, Miller Clark.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bara banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Uchli heres asher tevu shalbo yishaver ve'im bichli nechoshet uchshala umorak ve'shutaf b'mayim kol zachar b'kohanim Yochal ota kodesh kodashim he. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Now, amen.
Oh my God.
Stimmen tov and mazel tov and mazel tov and stimmen tov and mazel tov and mazel tov and stimmen tov and mazel tov and mazel tov and stimmen tov. Yehelanu, 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 ulekol am Yisrael. Ready, come. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ulekol am Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ulekol am Yisrael. Hey. Underhand.
I'm sorry, Beth. I'm sorry, Beth. My bad. I was trying to hit them.
Well, if you're going to dish it out, you have to be ready to get it back.
I think I may have.
Okay.
My bad.
Thank you for that, for participating in the joy of the moment. And in a few minutes, we have a cleanup job to do. Although there's not that much left.
Yes,
You
there's a
picked
lot
like
down here.
2/3 of it up. There's some candy that's still sitting around up here and on either side of this platform that we call the bima, and we need to pick up every one of them. So I'm inviting the young people, self-defined, if you consider yourself young, you're invited, to pick up the remaining candy. But there's a couple of ground rules. Number 1, no running. Just like even in slow-mo, come and very gently pick up the candy. And what happens is the kids don't eat the candy. They bring it out and give it to all the adults. Or at least I've been perpetuating that myth for years. If you are lucky enough to get a piece of candy, you may eat it. Well, we don't want the crinkly sound of the wrappers to interrupt the Dvar Torah. So maybe just stick it in your pocket and eat it later. And please don't leave any candy or any wrappers around the sanctuary. Let's respect the dignity of this place. And while we're picking up the candy, I'm going to lift the Torah and turn around and hold it aloft. And this is a significant ritual that says this is not a private teaching or text locked away in a closet or only held by some priest who dispenses it as on his will, whatever he wants to teach. Nope. It's a gift to the Jewish people and through us to all humanity, a blueprint for building a better world if we would only study it and try to live by its ways. So that is the meaning of that moment. And I just need my sheet here. We invite up onto the bima because we're going to be putting the Torah back in the ark. For the honor of opening the ark, cousin Stephanie Monk and Leanne and Eric Thigerson. And for the honor of dressing the Torah, friends Clay and Danette Sorensen. And I invite you all to please rise.
Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe. Get the candy now. Ki lekach tov natati lachem.
It's okay, guys. Come on up.
Al ta'azoru. Shalom, 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 shalom. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are
be seated. No, Dvar Torah, nice and loud and slow. Slow, slow, slow.
It's Dvar Torah time.
Wait, let all these people sit down before you start.
Oh, yeah, I will. Have you ever had a chore around the house that you find very unpleasant? Well, I have. Among all the chores I have in my house, the one I find the most, well, you fill in any other of unpleasant adjectives, is cleaning out the litter box. It smells, it's dirty, it's, well, a very unpleasant job, but someone has to do it. And at my house, that person is me, unfortunately. If you're all wondering why I'm talking about this messy job today, it is because my Torah portion relates directly to it. Like the litter box, my Torah portion also has a very messy job. The portion is called Tzav, and much of it is talking about the sacrifices that were made in the ancient temple in Jerusalem. Every day, the people would bring their sacrifices, usually animals, hand them to the priest, who would slaughter them and burn them on an altar. They did this in order to get closer to God. It was like giving a special gift to someone, but in this case, that someone was God. Now, this is where the mess comes into play. Some passages in the Talmud that depict the scene describe the priests wading up to their knees in blood, and others describe 1.2 million animals being slaughtered in just one day. Whether that's accurate or not, or even if it's just an exaggeration, you can imagine there was a giant mess to clean up. That was a messy job that someone had to do. You would probably think that job would be done by some servants or by some kind of unskilled workers, but surprisingly, that job, according to the Torah, was done by none other than the priests themselves. Even Aaron, the high priest, as stated in the Torah, he shall take off his priestly vestments and put on other vestments and carry the ashes outside the camp. The vestments were special uniforms worn by the priests when they performed their holy tasks. Rashi, a very well-known rabbinic commentator, says that due to the huge amount of sacrificial ash and rendered fat, the high priest would take off his sacred garb and don dirty clothes in order to handle the ashes. Imagine if Steph Curry wiped the court after every game, or if the President of the United States would collect the garbage cans from the White House on garbage day. It wouldn't happen. But here in my Torah portion, we have Aaron, the high priest, arguably one of the most important people of his time, putting on dirty work clothes and personally cleaning up the huge mess. Lots of commentators throughout the ages, have read these verses and thought about their meanings. They tried to explain the significance of Aaron and the other priests doing this dirty job themselves. One of those commentators, Rabbeinu Bahia, suggests that the hands-on dirty job is actually part of the sacrificial service. It might not be as awe-impressive or inspiring as making sacrifices, but maybe that's the point. It shouldn't be seen as below the dignity of the priest to do this menial task, and maybe the whole point is to keep them humble. As Rabbeinu Bahia suggests, the smallest act from a place of humility is greater than the largest act from a place of arrogance. I think this theme of humility is probably one of the most important takeaways of the Torah portion. The commentary of Rabbeinu Bahia and others has pointed out this very valuable lesson that is just as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. Just think about it. The people we respect and admire most, whether they are in politics, business, or sports, are the ones that are the most humble, the ones that keep their egos in check. For example, LeBron James, arguably one of the greatest basketball players of all time, is also, in some cases, Dad, one of the most humble. Even though he earns tens of millions of dollars every year and is in the spotlight constantly, he never lets that go to his head. Consider the following. Whenever he meets NBA legends, he always makes sure to show them great respect and repeatedly states that he just happens to be a boy from the inner city who loves playing basketball. He never shows off his money or status to anyone and prefers to be a family man off the court. And when he wins big playoffs games, he makes sure to show absolute respect to the other team and often praises them for their efforts. In other words, someone has to physically tell LeBron that he has accomplished so much instead of him boasting about it. For example, Universal Studios. LeBron is without a doubt one of the greatest players to ever play the game, but to him, it is important not just to be a great basketball player, but a positive role model for the next generation. Due to his upbringing, living on food stamps and welfare as a kid, LeBron has learned to take nothing for granted. Instead, he tries his best to use his fame and notoriety to inspire others to follow his lead and to be humble. That mindset, I think, is definitely something that we need more of today. Everyone who knows me knows that I love sports, and basketball happens to be my favorite. I tend to get really into the game, and I'm very competitive, trying to win at all costs. But I'm inspired by what I have learned from LeBron. Just like him, I try to show absolute respect to my opponents at the end of the game, rather than boasting about my team's victory. When we lose, I try to lighten the mood and lift up my teammates. We're all humans, and we all make mistakes. In team sports, no one person should take the blame for a defeat, and no one person should take all the credit for a win. We are all in it together. As I said before, this theme of humility doesn't just apply to sports, but to all aspects of life. Nobody likes a know-it-all who thinks he or she is better than everyone else. We must accept that all people are different and all people have their strengths and their weaknesses. Some are better at sports, some are better at academics or at arts. But as the Torah teaches, we are all created in God's image, which means we need to treat all people with dignity and respect. We must at all times strive to remember the example set by the priests in the temple who cleaned up the ashes and did the dirty work themselves, because it was not below them to do so. As we learn from Rabbeinu Bahia, the smallest act from a place of humility is greater than the largest act from a place of arrogance. All the students in our temple are asked to make a tzedakah contribution in honor of their bar mitzvah. Tzedakah means righteous giving. In honor of my bar mitzvah, I will be donating 10% of the cash gifts I receive to Share Sheet, a nonprofit organization that improves the lives of Jewish women and families living with or at increased risk for breast cancer or ovarian cancer. They help thousands of people every year through personalized support and help save many lives through educational outreach. I make this donation in honor of my grandmother, Miriam Miller, who is bravely facing her own challenge with breast cancer. And now for some thank yous. First, I'd like to thank Rabbi Glostov, who helped me write my Dvar Torah and helped me get ready for the service today. Thank you also for the guidance and teaching throughout these last few months and years. Karma, thank you for teaching me how to chant my Torah portion and for always being so patient and encouraging. Thank you also for letting me help myself to the candy on your desk. Lindy, thank you so much for your beautiful singing. You always bring so much joy to our services. I want to thank my Aunt Edna for giving me my special talit that belonged to my Uncle Elliot. Wearing it on this special occasion and this day in my life is helping me to perpetuate his memory. Grandma and Grandpa, thank you for playing such a big role in my life. I always enjoy the time we spent together and all the special things we do. You shared with me your wisdom and always given me such good advice. Mom and Dad, thank you for guiding me throughout my life and always being there for me. You always do literally everything for me, supporting my interest in sports, academics, and even Rubik's Cubing. Thank you for making all the arrangements for my awesome party today, and for always having my back. I love you both very much. Last but not least, I want to thank everyone who came today from near and far to share my bar mitzvah. Your presence really helps to make this a real celebration. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Yes, let's learn to say this. Say Yasher. Koach. Yasher Koach. Roughly translated, all the power to ya.
So good job, pretty much.
Or good job. Miller. You are about to receive from me what I like to say whenever I watch any of our bar or bat mitzvah students stand here and do an amazing job. This is a long-standing Temple Israel tradition, and I invite you to join me in saying, wow. Ready? Hot, shtayim, shalosh. Wow!
Thank you.
And that wow was so richly deserved. You know, I only wish, Miller, that you could stand here with a little more confidence. I only wish, Miller, that you could loudly project your voice so we could hear you. Because you have such a tiny little voice.
I'm sorry, it's my dad's fault.
You got that from him. And my only struggle in working with you through the last several weeks is actually keeping up with you. Because your mind works so fast, and you think through and articulate really important things with such speed and precision that it has been a challenge for me to keep up with you. And I mean that sincerely and in only the best way. And it has been a pleasure for me to work with you and to get to know you and to learn more about all your awesome strengths. You are quite an accomplished and gifted young man. You bring a lot to the table, and we are kvelling, which is a nice Yiddish word for just bubbling over with pride to see your growth and your growing maturity and to see who you are as a wonderful young man and as a proud Jew. It's hard to top what your parents shared with you because both of them spoke so beautifully. You have so many gifts, as I was saying before, the speed of your mind. You're a wonderful, amazing athlete, which is one of your passions in life. And it's not just one sport, but many sports that you love and that you're good at. And you need that because you have so much energy. But you've taken away many wonderful lessons from your experiences as an athlete, and you shared it with us so beautifully in your Dvar Torah today about being humble, which is really a measure of who we are as human beings. Yes, it's wonderful to win the battle, right? To win that game. And we try to do that at all costs because we're competitors and it's all about winning. But that's not how we measure someone as a human being. And I think all of us know the examples, and you shared some wonderful examples of winning athletes who also are humble and wonderful human beings versus those who are poor sports and who are not. And at the end of the day, I think, and you, I hope, will agree, it's those people who are both good athletes and humble who we admire the most. Because those are the people who we aspire to follow. Those are the people who add something to our world, who bring what we call menschlichkeit, which means gentleness and love and all the good things that make our world a better place, the kind of world that we all want to live in. And it's all our jobs to bring our own piece of menschlichkeit into the world. And after working with you and watching you today, you are one of those mensches. And you are going to bring what is unique and special about you. And I know you're going to bring your menschlichkeit into the world. And I predict there will be people who will look up to you and aspire to follow in the examples that you set. I can't wait to see what you're going to do with your amazing mind, or perhaps your athletic prowess, or a mixture of both. We're so proud of you, and my prayer for you, Miller, is that you will continue to be a blessing for your family, for our community, and for our world. Mazel tov. And I invite you to join me in front of the ark for a quiet blessing. I have the best job in the world, that I get to share these special moments. And now I invite up onto the bima the president of our board of directors, Emily Ripken, for a few presentations.
Miller, you did a fantastic job. And you've led the service with so much confidence. You made your family at home and your entire Temple Israel Jewish community very proud of you today. I'm honored to give you a gift. I stand here representing the Temple Israel Board of Directors, which your mother does a beautiful job and has added so much to our temple, and give you this Kaddish cup that's your own. It says Miller Clark Bar Mitzvah, April 1, 2023. So this is a present for you, and this is a certificate that you were called to the Torah as Bar Mitzvah on this day, and Rabbi and Karma have signed it, and it's a beautiful certificate for you. And we are honored to give that to you, and we hope you can use it with pride in your Jewish life, and may you go forward with a big sense of achievement and independence, knowing the beautiful job you've done today. And may you fill your cup many times with many happy occasions, many Shabbats, many holidays, many important Jewish festivities over the years. So Mazel Tov.
And I have just a few more presentations to offer up. Number one, we have in our entry hall, the lobby over there, a tree. We call it our Simcha tree, and there are leaves on that tree, and engraved on each of those leaves is someone's name and the date of an important occasion in their life. For some, it's a wedding or a special anniversary or a bar or bat mitzvah, and today there's a brand new leaf on the tree, and it has your name on it and today's date in honor of this occasion. And your job is every time you walk through that lobby, you need to go find your leaf and remember this special day and pick up your elbow and give it a little shine, okay? As your mom reminded us, 16 years ago, your mom and dad stood pretty much in this exact spot celebrating their wedding, and I was there, officiating and sharing it with them. And that day a dream was planted, not knowing exactly what that would look like. And you are the realization of that dream. About 150 years ago, Jews started returning to our ancient homeland, the land of Israel. And they had a dream. And they started to plant in order for that dream to come true. And what they were planting was trees, because they knew if that was going to be a place that would sustain life, that they needed to transform that desert into a flourishing forest. And through the years, with the help of the Jewish National Fund and donations from Jews all around the world, they planted over 200 million trees, and I'm not exaggerating. It's the only country to enter the 21st century with a net gain in trees. Today, there is one more tree being planted in the modern state of Israel in honor of you and your bar mitzvah, and it's a gift from me and Karma and Lindy and the staff here at Temple Israel. And your task for this one is not if, but when you go to Israel, you have to go and find your tree.
Out of 100 million?
200 million.
200? Okay.
Good luck, kid.
So what do you think it looks like?
It's green, it's got...
Thank you for narrowing it down. I appreciate that.
Okay. Our service continues. We're on page 24. with a song that reminds us why we came here and what we should take from here. It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption. It's what we were free to do. For what's the point of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. We are carrying the stories of the ones who came before. But stories will be told of us if we are here no more. We commit ourselves to action. It brings meaning to our days. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. It's up to us to form the vision. We are an answer to a call. It's up to us to live the words we speak for the benefit of all. It's up to us to bow down deeply. There's a broken world to raise. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. We invite up onto the bima for the honor of opening the ark one last time, Anthony Perez and Zaya Thimbrez, as we all rise and continue with the chanting of Aleinu. The bottom of page 24.
And Brian Perez.
Come on up. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגוד עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Remain standing. At the conclusion of each of our services, we take a quiet moment to remember and to pay tribute to the memory of our loved ones who are no longer here with us physically, but whom we carry in our hearts and in those memories. And so in a very real way, they sustain and carry us, and their memories are a blessing. And especially at these happy occasions, we remember relatives who would be here kvelling, who would be here bursting with pride watching Miller and the family and this transmission of faith today. So we are especially remembering grandparents Shirley Honanian and Robert Clark, and great-uncle Elliot Bean, and great-grandparents Gertrude and Rudolph Miller, Anne and Harry Kurland, and Penny and David Baker. And we all hold dearly the memories of those special people in our lives who are only here today in our hearts as we recite together on page 25, Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalmad divra cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon, v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shemei rabbah muvarach leolam ulamei almaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemeda kudisha barichu. Kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mramav Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who makes peace in the high places make peace here on earth between all, and let us say amen.
Amen.
Everyone say, ah. And I would like to invite the immediate and extended family to come and join us up here on the bima, and then for everyone else to come out from the pews and come and stand in this space in front of the bima, at the foot of the bima, just as close as you can as we sing our concluding song and have a Kaddish and Motzi. Odiva shalom aleinu, Odiva shalom aleinu, Odiva shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Odiva shalom aleinu, Odiva shalom aleinu, Odiva shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Come fill in that space. Come and keep forward. Odiva shalom aleinu, Odiva shalom aleinu, Odiva shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Odiva shalom aleinu, Odiva shalom aleinu, Odiva shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Odiva shalom aleinu, Odiva shalom aleinu, Odiva shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Miller, raise our Kaddish cup and do the honors. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim? To life?
Anyone want to tag in?
Last night he tasted the wine and, well, it didn't go so well.
This is disgusting.
And we join together in a motzi, which is the blessing for this challah that we're going to share, and it will also be the blessing for the meal that we're going to share when we go to the club. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom. And mazel tov.
And Mazel Tov. And Shabbat Shalom, everyone who's watching us on live stream.
Yes, let's turn around and have a big Shabbat shalom for
Shabbat
those joining
shalom.
online. 1, 2, 3. Shabbat shalom.
I know my English teacher's watching. Yeah, my English teacher's watching.
Go ahead, make noise.
Remember Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachar Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki Kadosh